Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Recently, we've received the first of the weekly updates from QI Software regarding the closed alpha. And whilst we didn't get much in the way of information specifically on the status of the alpha itself, as there's really been no changes there, we did see some new footage which I've been eager to learn more about since I first thought about basing and how it will work in Dead Matter. Before I jump into this one, if you'd like a full breakdown of how basing in Dead Matter is going to work and the various options we'll have on that front, I'll leave a link to another video I did on this previously at the end of this video. For today's video, I'm going to cover a basic understanding of how base claiming and fortification works in Dead Matter, review the new footage we've been given by the development team, and talk about what we might see in the future with regards to basing. First, let's talk about how basing works. In Dead Matter, you'll be able to claim a building as your own, which you can then use as your home. Currently, the plan is for players to be able to claim 3 buildings per player, but this is heavily subject to change. The team are obviously very aware that this will need to change if base claiming becomes too easy on a larger scale when several players are thrown into the mix. Formerly, we didn't know the details of how claiming would work, but as of this recent footage, we can now see that this is done at a circuit breaker box just outside of the building itself. Nice and easy, really. Now, one key thing that has been noticed that was in the footage we've been shown, the door was actually locked by the player before the building was claimed. Now, this could mean, with the right tools, we're able to lock buildings behind us, which could open up interesting options in the instance we don't have the time to fully loot a building and want to come back to it later, or if we're being chased by infected and have to take refuge. Alternatively, it could just mean that the player was in some sort of admin mode and that in reality we're only going to be able to do this once a building is claimed. Either way, something which could be interesting to see when the game drops. Once the building is claimed, we can start fortifying our surroundings and making sure our location of choice is secure from prying eyes of survivors and the grubby mitts of the infected. Now, what we saw in the next part of the footage given to us by the developers is really interesting. We get to see exactly how the building system is going to work, and I have to say, it's damn good. One of my biggest pet peeves in survival games is when the building system, or just any kind of crafting really, is too complex. I'm looking at you, Daisy. The interface should be simple to use and easy to understand. My challenge should come from acquiring the in-game materials, not working out how to build something. This is just my opinion, but I'm confident that many people share it, of course. Dead Matter's building system is super straightforward. You choose the item you'd like from a radial menu, place a scaffold or outline, and from there you just add materials called for the item, which it clearly displays for you when you hover over it. Simple. I can't express just how thankful I am that we didn't go the route of a huge crafting list or some kind of complicated system that requires me to use certain items in my hands to be able to craft something. Once the fortifications for your base are down, you can choose how you'd like to upgrade them. In the recent footage we saw, there was a choice of upgrading with wood or sheet metal, for example. The upper half of the barricade is given a wood panel and the lower half is covered with sheet metal. It's cool to see this kind of fortification because it gives us early game options for securing the perimeter, but still offers us a chance to upgrade later as a part of our progression. The only thing I can see being a potential issue here is how we're going to tackle upgrading to sheet metal once a wood panel is already placed. So long as this is done easily and doesn't require stripping down the entire barrier and building a new one, I think we'll be all good there. Fortifications simply snap together to create a longer structure, which is pretty much the most straightforward way of doing things to my knowledge. The one thing that worries me on this front is how the walls will interact with different elevations. For example, are we going to be able to build a barricade slightly into the ground so that we can complete a wall, or will it have to be on the same elevation? I'm confident the team has already thought about this, but it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. One of the most frustrating things when it comes to building is placing every single damn wall spare for one, and then being told that you can't place the last piece because it's colliding with the world. I'm hoping that this is avoided entirely. There's a very small snippet of this video that shows the covering of windows using newspaper. This was actually something discussed in a past devlog, so it's not exactly new and exciting, but I do think it's worth talking about. Blocking up windows in Dead Matter comes in 2 varieties, at least from what we've seen so far. blocking out light with certain materials, and fully blocking up the window using things like wood boards. The infected will take notice of any light sources left on overnight, so blocking up windows with newspaper is designed to help with that, as well as keeping them from spotting you whilst you're wandering around the house in the day. However, if you're walking between a light source and the window covered in newspaper, you'll cast a shadow, which isn't great if there's a sneaky sniper in the area. All things to consider, and a nice little touch when it comes to both PvP and PvE elements. Boarding up windows with wood planks looks much the same as building walls around your house and seems fairly simple. One last thing that I wanted to touch on in this video, and that's what I'm going to call utility features to basing. In the snippet we were given, we get to see the construction of a small farming plot. When I first saw this, it got me incredibly excited because I'm one of those survivors that end up building a huge farm given the chance and produce just about every sort of vegetable I can to make survival easier. We'll see how in-depth this system becomes, but I'd love to see very small buffs or quality of life improvements awarded to the player if they cook something at home, which require multiple food items, giving us a stronger reason to grow food at our base. We also saw a greenhouse structure in form of logs, so it'll be interesting to see how those come into play, but I'd speculate that this might increase the speed of growing crops in some way. That's it from me in this one, guys, but thank you very much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed seeing the first footage of base fortification in Dead Matter as much as I did. Have a good one, folks, and I will see you in the next one.